All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Morgan Heitzma with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today's class is probably one of my favorites. It is going to be setting your goals for next year. Today's class is going to be recorded here today and going to be housed on our YouTube page. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat box down below for you. And also note that throughout today's class, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to use this chat box. I'll do my best to stop in real time and help address any of those questions in real time. And if by chance I miss any questions, just know that I'm going to stay at the end for a few minutes here to help answer those. If you have any troubleshooting issues or if you need to reach out to us at a later date, please feel free to reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I'm going to go ahead and throw that email in the chat box down below for you as well. And without further ado, again, today's class is going to be all about setting up your goals for 2024. And today's class may be a little bit lighter, but I'm going to do my best to jam-pack this class full of useful information on your goals and your reports and things like that. So without further ado, what you see right here is the KW Command login page. We're going to sign in underneath Scott's KW Command here today. And once you sign in underneath your KW Command account, you should be greeted with your home page. And it should look something similar to this. Now, before we actually navigate over to the reports and set up our 2024 goals, I do want to at least showcase that you do have some reports and goals set up here directly on your home page. And if we were to scroll down just a little bit right here, you should see that in your database health right here. Oh, there we go. And our goals. So as you see our goals right here down below, you have the accumulation of your leads, your appointments, your under contract, and your closed units. And these are a combination of your listings and your buyers, leases too, if you have them on here. But yeah, this will be kind of, again, that all-inclusive timeline here for you to be able to view at a glance. And then as we move over here a little bit further, you will also have your GCI goal breakdown. And again, this is all feeding from your opportunities here within your KW Command. Now, one thing to note is if you close the transaction, say today, you may have to wait until the end of transmittal. It may take a moment for that transaction to update and process, but for the most part, it should update there for you after the transmittal period. Now, as we're taking a look right here, we do have a toggle option on our homepage, our year to date. If we were to give this a click, we can also toggle to view our month to date as well. So again, a little bit more granular here. We can go ahead and again, view our accumulation of leads, appointments, under contract, and closed units. What else is kind of cool about the month to date is you also have the number as well located. So how many leads came through month to date? 1 lead came through, 4 appointments were created, 1 under contract, and then 0 closed. And then again, one of my favorites down here is it also gives you your goal. And we'll go ahead and talk about that here in a minute. But again, being able to keep on track with your goal without even having to navigate off of the home page of KW Command. Again, we can kind of see if we are on track. So as we're taking a look right here, we can also move this around if we want to kind of have our goals front and center. If we scroll up at the very top here, top right hand corner, we can also customize this. So we can move this home page. We see our goals section right here. We can actually drag this all the way up to the top if we'd like, and then hit apply. So again, completely customizable how you'd like to view your dashboard or your home page right here. But again, I prefer to have either my tasks up at the top as well as my leads, or something along the lines of my goals. There we go. So again, at a glance, you'll see our breakdown. If we click on the red KW square in the top left-hand corner, again, it'll open up our left-hand icons right here. And our reports and our goals are going to be housed fourth from the bottom here. It's going to look like a little bar graph. And if we give this a click here, there's going to be a number of different reporting statistics that we can view. So taking a look right here on our reports page, up at the very top, we'll have our reports, our goals, our lead routing, emails, and text and calls. And we're primarily going to focus on our goals here today. But as we have a little bit of time, I do kind of want to get you guys familiar with our full reports section right here. One thing to keep in mind, at the reports overview, the dashboard right here, it'll first kind of give you a database health score. And then as we scroll down below a little bit further, it'll give you your activity score. So database health is going to be all about how much information you have accumulated within your database. So as you see, we have a large majority of our contacts have phone numbers and emails. However, the rest we may need to focus on a little bit more. And then down below again, how much of your database have you been in contact with within the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or more. So taking a look right here, we can also compare and filter by. So you can filter by just emails, just notes, meetings. So you can filter based off of what kind of activities. And then on the top right-hand corner right here, you'll also have your where these contacts have come from, whether it be our landing page, phone import, database, Facebook lead, and app. So you have your database dashboard right here. You have your reports right here. This is going to really be a big this is going to be a big view on your opportunities here. And this will also go hand in hand with your goals. So as we're taking a look at our reports right here, since we kind of primarily use this as a test account, it may not show accurate information, but as we're taking a look right here, you do have your opportunities report, your goals report, and your database report. Looking at opportunities, this is the total number of opportunities that we've created. Any new opportunities, potential income, probable income, and commissions. So again, since we don't really close on the opportunities, we just use them for our opportunity class. We may not have a majority of this information here, but again, you should see it reflect accordingly. Now, again, keep in mind, if you closed any recently, you still may have to wait until transmittal to see those numbers update. So you have your buyer opportunity overview, your listing opportunity overview. And then if we toggle over here to our goals report, this is going to, again, draw information from your opportunities. So our goals overview, how much do we want to make, what our cost of sales are, what our operating expenses, and what is our GCI. It kind of gives us a breakdown right here. And truth be told, we're going to actually update this here in a minute. We're going to update this to our 2024 goals. But again, if you wanted to take a look at a glance what your goals are set for, again, you may want to do this every quarter or twice a year. You may want to at least just keep checking this to make sure that you are keeping on track. All right. One thing to note also when we are inside the reporting section is, this section is still currently being worked on. So you may have a notification banner. This may say different stuff depending on where you're at. But one thing right here says this information is coming from the opportunities applet and may not update instantly. So again, kind of like what we were talking about, the transmittal, but always good to keep a note right here. If you're not seeing the most accurate up-to-date numbers, again, please reach out to us. But again, if it has been recently, you may have to wait, maybe have to wait a few weeks. Next, we have our emails, text, and calls, lead routing if you're on a team. But as we're kind of going towards our goals here, let's take a look at this. This is our primary our primary goals section. This will allow us to be able to view a little bit more in depth how we are keeping on track. So our report section just kind of tells us, what our goal is, but this goals section tells us how we're doing. And again, at the very top here, we see our goals, but if we follow this all the way over to the right-hand side, you'll see our 2023 goals. We should now be able to toggle this over to 2024 goals. Now, if you tried this a few months ago, it may not have been available just yet, but again, it is here today. And also note that time until your 2024 goals take effect. So 14 hours, 2 days, 1 month, 2 days, and 14 hours. So we do have a little bit of time to set this up, but we are nearing the end of the year here, so we want to make sure we get this set up sooner rather than later. And also note, when I swapped from my 2023 goals to my 2024 goals, it also adjusted all my metrics as well. It kind of gave me a clean slate right here. So before we actually set this up, let's kind of take a look at our goals versus actuals, our profit tracker, and then our activity breakdown. So our goals versus actual, once we set this up, we're going to have a number of percentages to help us keep on track. Again, leads, contracts, appointments set, appointments kept, agreements under contract, and closed units. So again, reflecting similar to the opportunities section right here. As these start to fill in and circle up, like we saw in our 2023 goals, you'll have a specific color for each section. So you'll have lead gen, listing, buyers, and compare right here. Our compare is also going to be on the right-hand side. If we want to toggle that on, we can compare with other agents, and then again, that will be grayed out. So, so this will be our timeline here for our goals. If we scroll down a little bit further, we'll have what we call our profit tracker. So depending on what we set our goals for next year, we'll have also a percentage timeline to kind of see where we're at on reaching that profit goal. So again, you'll see this is divided into 3 different colors if we're on track, if we're on watch, or on alert. So again, if you're in the green, orange, or red, that kind of really indicates how we're doing and how we're going to reach our goal. Now, scrolling down here a little bit more, we have our activities breakdown. So again, we have this year or this month, so you can view month to date, or you can view the entire year. Since we're setting up for 2024, let's go ahead and keep this on our year here. And as we're taking a look, we don't quite have any bit of information, but again, we haven't quite set up our 2024 goals yet. It gave us an estimated total GCI of 150,000, but again, we can go ahead and adjust this accordingly. Our goal conversion rates. This is really fun. This is this kind of lets you know, the moment a lead, gets into a contract, what percent of closing, what probability of closing do you have on that client, right? As we start to move from lead to closed units right here, this percentage should increase. So we may go from a 5 to a 10, 10 to a 20, 20 to a 40, 40 to an 80, 90, and then 100 right here. So again, this will really depend on how your business is. If you know the moment that you go into agreements that you're going to close on the deal, you may want to adjust this a little bit higher than a 75%. If you know that under contract is really where you kind of struggle in your business, and you know that that's kind of a tough spot for you, you may want to again adjust that accordingly. So as we scroll up a little bit more, again, this is kind of how we read out what's going on in our business and how we're keeping track of our goals. Up at the top right-hand corner here, we'll go ahead and click on Goal Settings, and this will allow us to create these 2024 goals for us. Now, this is really cool. This is probably one of the last remaining Kelly guides in our KW command here. This should help you step by step in creating these goals for 2024. So all we really have to do is click on Get Started here. And again, it should take us through the process. The left-hand side is going to be all the information that we fill out, and then the right-hand side is going to be auto-populated based on the information. Now, we can go ahead and take a look. We'll see what year are you setting your goals for. We'll go ahead and make sure that we are on 2024 here. And this is where we can be kind of strategic, right? So if you're a solo agent, 100,000 for an annual profit goal, that would be completely acceptable, right? So we can go ahead and plug this in right here, 100,000. And then when we get down to our expenses or our cost of sales, this will really depend on how you run your business. So first, annual profit goal, how much would you like to make at the end of 2024? Expenses here. Expenses are made whether or not a transaction takes place. So this is salaries if you belong to a team or have an admin. This is lead generation, marketing expenses, your CE, your education, and things like that. So expenses are things whether or not the transaction takes place. So what kind of expenses do you currently have? What programs are you paying a monthly subscription to help run your business? So what we want to do is we want to kind of gather up all the expenses that we have that we currently utilize whether or not the transaction takes place. And I'd say may adjust this to about 12,000 here. Let's see here. Cost of sales. So again, your cost of sales are going to be the expenses that are made only when the transaction takes place. Okay, so we're talking about splits to other agents, your cap, right? Your royalty, referral fees, things like that. So things that only expenses that are only made when transactions take place. So, again, if we think about our royalty, our cap, commission splits, referral fees, all those types of things, we'll go ahead and, again, we'll maybe do 21,000 here. This number may be different for you, and it should be different for everyone because everybody runs their business a little bit differently. But as we kind of scroll down here a little bit further, then we have our business makeup. So how much of your business is buyers, how much of your business is listings, and how much of your business is leases? Now, in this case right here, I'm going to say that my business is a little bit heavier on the buyer side. So let's say about 60% buyers and maybe about 40% listings. So if you're in an area where you have leases, again, we can go ahead and adjust that accordingly as well. We can say 30% listings and 10% leases. So again, what does your business make up? Now, my area doesn't quite have leases, so I'm just going to add 40% listings, 60% buyers right here. And scrolling down here, we have our average commission per unit. So how much is the average home sale that you get? How much is the average commission for the listing side as well as the buyer side and leases side? So again, I'm just going to go ahead and put about 12,000 for each side here. If you think about 3% for listings and 3% for buyers, but again, all depends on your area and your transaction. Fantastic questions. What are the difference between expenses and cost of sales? So again, expenses are going to be made whether or not the transaction takes place. So this is going to be maybe your office fee, like your cubicle, right? Maybe this is going to be salaries that you pay your admin out, lead generation. So like your Facebook paid ads, right? Marketing expenses. Maybe you purchase a program. So things that do not include a transaction taking place. And then cost of sales are expenses that are made only when the transaction takes place, like commission splits, market center brokerage fees, referral fees, things like that. So, so one's dependent on a sale, and one's just dependent on you running your business day to day. All right, so yeah, we got our average commission per unit right here. Again, split it down the middle between listings and buyers here, and as we take a look on the right hand side, you'll see that if we want our annual profit goal to be 100,000, we'll need our monthly profit goal to be 8,333. Now scrolling over here a little bit more, you'll also be able to see what that percentage looks like. If we spend about 15% of our cost of sales and our operating expenses, what we want to do is we want to add all of these together right here. Now, even though we want to have an annual profit of 100,000, we want to take in consideration our cost of sales and our operating expenses. So this would be technically 133,000 in our GCI that we would need to make in order to net 100,000. I hope that makes sense. Now, for those of you who are possibly working on a team, right, with multiple agents, you know, I do want to also take this in consideration as well. So let's go ahead and readjust this one more time for what a team would look like. And let's go ahead and put in our profit of $1 million here. Let's see. There we go. So we have our annual profit of $1 million. And just to let you know, again, through the MREA, average operating expenses and cost of sales, we'll go ahead and put this at about 750,000. And one thing, as we start to move towards the next page, you'll start to see this as well. But again, being able to kind of take a look right here, we want to make sure that we have our average sales price and our average commission as well. So our average commission amount in this aspect will be 7,150. And then we'll go ahead and move forward with a team goal set up here. So moving over on the next page, what it does is it kind of divides these sections up here for you. Remember when we saw that pyramid and we said the moment we get to this, we have a blank probability of closing on the deal. So here we get to actually adjust that. So the moment leads kind of come in, I probably have about a 5 to a 10% probability of closing. But as we take a look here, maybe when I go and add them into my contacts and start setting appointments for them, maybe this will start to increase ever so slightly. Now, what we currently have right here is a standard view. So if I go and I click on any of these, we are using that recommended rates right here. So we can also set this individually as well. So once I set this to individual, I can go ahead and adjust these accordingly. So let's say the moment a lead comes in, I probably have about a 5% probability of closing. The moment I turn them into a contact and start nurturing them, I probably have about a 15% probability of closing. The moment I set appointments, I probably have a 20%. Appointments kept right here. Let's go to 30%. Let's go to 75% right here. And then under contract pending, and let's go to 90%. There's always a probability of something falling through. So now I have like a nice percentage that reflects my business a little bit more accurately than what would be kind of those recommended rates right here. So again, we just follow that timeline through, and again, think about your past transactions and what that probability of closing during each stage of the transaction would most likely be. So we're going to go ahead and hit next right here. And now we kind of see this side by side. And this is what I was talking about. Even though we had a goal of $1 million, we have to also add in our cost of sales and our operating expenses, because that's going to come out of pocket, right? So in order to net $1 million, our gross will have to be 2.5 right here. And I know that sounds like a lot, but again, we're thinking in large teams right here. So that would technically be about 350 units sold for the entire year. 175 on the list side, 175 on the buy side. Again, this would be a larger kind of team right here. So as we are kind of scrolling down a little bit further right here, you also have your business makeup. Again, as we kind of adjusted this here, 75% of listings, 20% of buyers, and about 5% of leases. A little bit of room for some leases here. Now, if we are happy with this goal right here, we can go ahead and set goals on the bottom right-hand corner. And it does bring us back to our 2023 goals. But if we move this over to 2024 now, we may have to wait. We may have to wait until that month and 2 days in order for it to actually kick in and take effect. But again, as we scroll down right here, you still are able to see that year goal that you've set up. Again, if you don't quite like it, if you don't quite like it, or if you want to adjust your goals, we can just jump right back into that goals setting section right here and then make any adjustments. So it kind of saves all the information that we have right here. So again, if I wanted to go back down to that solo agent, right, and say I want 100,000 for the year. And we can go ahead and readjust this again. And one thing to keep in mind as well, right, as we're talking about goals and reports, and you're talking about both sides of the transaction, keep in mind, on the listing side, you have a lot more expenses than you would on the buyer side. So on the listing side, you have to stage and show homes. You have to have open houses. You have to market the listing. So again, keep into consideration what that percentage would look like, expenses, cost of sale, as well as dividing up which percent on either side. But as we kind of go back over here. Okay, here, let's change this back to 60 and 40. There we go. And I'm going to hit continue here. And then again, we can set individually, or we can kind of use those recommended rates. So since, again, we're going through here and we're readjusting, we do have to plug this in one more time. We'll go 5 right here, 10. Oops. And 80. So we'll go ahead and we'll adjust that one more time. You do have a listing side, a buyer side, and a leases side as well. I did kind of skip over this. Again, as we're adjusting this, just keep in mind, you do have the ability to adjust either side right here. I'm going to hit continue here. And as you see, it kind of adjusted that accordingly. The reason why it is showing leases here for me is I didn't scroll through and I didn't remove all the percentages of my leases. If I were to have, it should clear that up here for me. There we go. Oh, we may actually have to have a singular percent in here. Okay, perfect. So we can't leave anything really blank here, but again, we do have the ability to kind of adjust all these accordingly. It does kind of leave room for leases as well, regardless. But again, if you don't have leases, you don't have to worry about that too much. But if you do, it does incorporate that automatically. So again, really cool here. So as we're looking back at the solo agent side, our annual estimated GCI, our gross commission, right, is going to be $133,000. So we need that extra $33,000 for our cost of sale and our operating expenses. So So again, something to kind of keep in mind here. We're going to set our goal one more time. And now we have our goal set for a solo single agent. Now, I think that may be about it. Again, it was a really short class here for us. I can run through some of these other report sections as well. Just think they're always kind of good to take a look at. We have our emails. As we're sending our marketing out, our email campaigns out, emails through Smart Plans, it should kind of give you a delivery engagement, which shows you how many emails have been delivered, undelivered, opened, clicked, replied, and unsubscribed. And we can go one step further, and we can actually click on view details, and it should show us which individuals actually clicked on these emails and unsubscribed and opened and so on. So it also gives you a reputation metric, how many emails have been marked as spam, as well as how many emails have been sent within that month. So again, Command Email does have 5,000 free email sends per month. So as this starts to increase right here, you'll be able to come back here and see where you're at in that metric. You can also upgrade as well if you're running out of emails early on in the month. Text and calls. Again, this will be more for Twilio. If you have Twilio set up, you do have the ability to kind of view same sort of timeline here up to 100%. It does give you your credits used, how many credits expired, and your credit limit right here. So again, we don't really have Twilio set up, so we don't really have too many metrics here, but it's always good to be able to come back here and view what's going on with your marketing. Alrighty. Again, really short class here today. If you guys have any questions, I'll stick around for a few extra minutes. But again, thank you so much for jumping into our 2024 goals. Again, super important. If you haven't had the time to set them up today. Always check your goals, halfway through the year at least. Make sure you are on track and that trajectory is something attainable. But yeah, other than that, please feel free to reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day.